right, here we are, live. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're doing this. I gotta do this a little bit different today, folks. Volume on this thing. You didn't give my ding dang. Oh, I got that on. Well, if you guys are in the chat, you're gonna have to shout out if you can hear me or not. Okay, yeah, that's working. That's working. Okay, we're all right. I had to make sure because we're doing the show a little bit different today. It's not a full comic show. I'm just gonna be playing the recording for my my local politics. Actually, went down. They had the county commissioners today. You were at having a meeting and all about the AI data centers. You know, everyone's all upset, worried about the AI data centers. Well, that's what they were there to talk about today. So went there and recorded it because, you know what I'm saying? Like, no one else is going to be there recording stuff. You're just going to rely on, like, maybe next week the newspaper might cover something about it and you're just going to get, you know, some like scrawled notes. So I think it's better to just have like the actual recording. It's just like an audio recording too. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to get in people's faces like, I got my camera on you. I give my camera. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not kind of that dude. So anyways, you know, I'm just going to play the recording. I'm going to put, here we go. I'll put the little coffee talk. That's the county commissioners, JP, Catherine, and Casey. Shout out to all of them. They did a good job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could tell, like, going in there, you know, like, I don't know how many town meetings and stuff you guys ever go to, but there's definitely kind of like a hostile attitude from some of the people there. You know, they were all angry about data centers or there's a jail project that they're working on that people are going back and forth for you know. So you know what I'm saying? Like, it's, and you see these town hall meetings on YouTube and stuff where people are all going crazy and throwing chairs and screaming and stuff. And like, I mean, I knew that wasn't going to happen. Like, it's not that kind of town. But you know, I figured just for posterity's sake, you know, and it seemed like a good turnout. A lot of people were there, and like I said, the commissioners like them, love them, or whatever. You know, they presented their information. You know, shout out. They did a good job. Yeah, and I got it. Get down, kitty cat. My cat's going crazy already. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna pull my thing out of here, and so I'm just gonna play it, and yeah, we'll just do that, and then I'll come back in. It's like an hour or so long, so you know, if you're watching on Twitter and the Facebook, shout out, you know, and then it'll be on the YouTube later after it gets turned into an audio thing and everything through the. Anyways, here we go. We'll just. Challenge.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. It's 5 minutes after 10. I want to thank everyone for coming to our Coffee with the Commissioners event here in Conneaut. So this is actually our third Coffee with the Commissioners this year. We've actually hosted these coffee events for several years now. It's part of a series of us getting out and about throughout the community to provide updates on different projects that are happening in Ashtabula County, and also giving you an opportunity to ask us questions as well. So we have also held evening meetings. We traveled throughout the county, visited many of our cities, villages, provided an opportunity also for folks to participate in the evening, because sometimes I recognize a daytime meeting is not always going to work for folks. So we also hosted these in the evening. Anticipate us doing that again in the future as well. So today's format, we're each going to speak about a couple of projects, and then we're going to do Q&A. That's pretty much how these work. Thank you to the library, to the Conneaut Public Library, Kathy and her team. She has coffee and donuts over there, so snag a coffee or a donut if you so wish. And then the restrooms are just on the other side of the entrance doors here. So if anybody needs to use the restroom, that's where those are located. So without further ado, we'll move forward with introductions and then we'll get started. So I'm Casey Kozlowski, Ashtabula County Commissioner.
Catherine Whittington, Ashtabula County Commissioner.
JP Dufro, Commissioner.
Crystal Sturgill, Assistant Clerk of the Board.
And then if it's okay, would we like to go?
Crystal Sturgill,
She is the
Assistant Clerk of the Board for the County
She's
Commissioner.
the assistant clerk.
Okay. Yep, and she's taking meeting minutes, so she'll take notes of this meeting since it is a commissioners meeting. And it does appear we are being recorded, so I do want to be transparent about that.
Yeah.
I think we have somebody here recording us. So.
That's true. I'm a member of the press, if that matters. Dr.
Okay.
Ben's Comics.
Okay, very good, very good. Now, do we want to do introductions around the room so we know who's here?
Sure.
Why don't we do that too?
I'm
Why
Oki
not?
Emery. I'm candidate for county auditor.
Thanks for being here.
Fantastic. I'm Dr. Ben. I'm a local cartoonist, YouTuber, podcaster. Dr. Ben's Comics. I got stickers available.
I'm Sandy Gockel, citizen.
I'm Steve Hall, citizen and A-Tech teacher.
Miranda Beals. I am the director of Walking with Memphis Dog Rescue.
Over here.
Bob Ettinger, Gazette newspapers.
Joel Speck, citizen.
Lori Campbell, concerned citizen, substitute teacher at City Schools.
Christopher Trevika.
Thanks. Gail Hollister, Ashtabula, concerned citizen.
Marion Barbato, Ashtabula, retired, concerned citizen.
Nick Sanford, city manager.
Hey.
Thanks for coming, Nick.
Mike Bar, Horsfield representative. I'm Nick.
Who's the leader of the club?
Yes.
I'm Nina Sherman, and I'm an executive assistant here at
Russ Chapin, Band of Heathen.
Great. Well, thank you. Again, thank you all for being here today. And Kathy, you missed it, but we did thank you for the coffee and donuts. So thank you so much for that. They sure do. They sure do. Yes. And before we start, is there anything that you'd like to mention?
You know what? You guys are here on the very blessed day of the year. You know, some may say it's Christmas morning. It's not. It's the first day of summer reading. And so it's, you know, having the county commissioners here today and all day is perfect. And that's why I will be reading a book and helping pick us off at 11:30. And then starting at 1 o'clock, we just have so much going on, so many different events and signing kids up for summer reading and getting kids excited about reading for the summer and also having some leisure time to do the things. Yes. And obviously the theme is Disney. She's just not,
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
I forgot that I had ears on.
I just want to make it clear, Kathy, and I'm going to speak for Nick over here. We appreciate the library
Yes.
and everything you've done.
Well,
You girls are doing a great job.
No, and listen, the library is, we just talked about this the other day, the library, we welcome community conversation. And a matter of fact, Conneaut's going to be involved with a few community conversation projects that will be part of the America 250.
Okay.
And I hope if you like talking and that you enjoy having community conversations and really about visioning, right? And about thinking what the future holds for us and how we all want that to be. And we're going to hold some space for that late summer and in the fall.
Well, awesome. Again, thanks for having us today. And I should mention, Nick, anything you want to add since we're in the city of Conneaut?
No, welcome everybody, commissioners, welcome. It's good to see you guys again. It's familiar faces, of course.
Yes.
I was proud to serve as Director of Environmental Services to the board from 2015 to 2020. It's good to have you here in Conneaut.
When can we see Big Boy?
July 12th and 13th. We were very excited to have Big Boy here this week. It's estimated we have about 6,000 here in the city of Conneaut this week.
That's awesome.
Very exciting.
That's very good. All right, well, so we'll go ahead and get started, and we'll have Catherine kick off with a couple things, and then we'll move to JP, and then I will finish, and then we'll move on to questions.
Great, thank you. First, I want to talk about STEM Camp. Several years ago, the commissioners were approached to start a summer STEM camp for the 5th and 6th graders. I didn't quite know how we were going to do that or what that was going to look like. The first year, we partnered with AWT to actually make that happen. What we quickly realized is that nobody knows our community better than our stakeholders. And so the following year, we decided that we would leave AWT and start our own STEM camp. With that being said, the community stepped up, stakeholders stepped up, and we put on our very first STEM camp. The only year we took off was, of course, COVID. I'm proud to say, as of today, we have expanded our 5th and 6th grade program to 7th and 8th graders. So we now run 5 camps altogether. We have 3 weeks of 5th and 6th grade, 1 week of 7th, 1 week of 8th. Our 5th and 6th graders, we have agricultural and food week, we have robotics, and we have mad scientist week. So what we do is each day, Monday through Thursday, we actually take field trips to local manufacturers. Greg Myers from Growth Partnership comes in prior to the kids leaving and talks about the manufacturer that they're going to that day. We've partnered with ATEC to host us there, as well as Country Neighbor, who provides us our summer foods. So the kids get free lunches while they're there. And then, of course, the Gazette and provides lunches for our family gathering on Fridays. We partner with Job and Family Services, the U.S. Congressman Joyce's office, and many others that we partner with. The camp runs approximately $25,000. We garnered about $14,000 in grants this year, and the rest was off of in-kind services donated. We keep our camp at $35. We are up $10 since we started. If you go to STEM camp in Lake or Geauga County, you're going to pay anywhere between $250 and $400 per child. And we know that's not feasible for our families here. We also offer scholarships for our kids and families that can't afford that $35. So we're very thankful to all our manufacturers, to all of our stakeholders that step up and help us provide the STEM camp. We are looking to expand to 9th grade. I wanted to do that this year. The stakeholders felt it was best that we wait another year, and that will completely close the gap from 5th grade to high school once we add the 9th grade camp in. Moving on from that, and we serve roughly 115 kids through the camp. So very, very positive group. And we have a lot of returning students. So they start out in the 5th grade, and we have ones that started in 5th grade that are now in the 8th grade camp. And so it's exciting to see as they move through the camp. Moving on, one of my other big projects that we are working on is a county-wide dog shelter. We have a responsibility with the Ohio Revised Code that states we are responsible for dogs at large, which is 955 code for the Ohio Revised Code. So we've had contracts through the years with APL. Unfortunately, we no longer have a contract with them, and we have had to look at alternatives as to how we can keep our animals safe that are picked up from being on the run, so to speak, at large. So we partnered with ATEC, and we wrote for a countywide dog shelter and with the capital budget. And I'm proud to say this week we were awarded $400,000 from the state to assist in building that facility. It'll be out at ATEC. It'll be behind the small animal care program building. We are partnering with them to provide some type of veterinarian services for certain dogs. Certain dogs will not be able to go into ATEC, obviously. Some of our dogs that we get in are just not able to go into the school setting with the youth. But we're looking forward to that partnership. We have started a nonprofit as well. That is in the very early stages. That actually, I checked last week and it still had not been assigned an IRS agent for review yet. So we're still in that process. That nonprofit will assist in raising funds to help with medical bills and just in general what is needed for the shelter, whether it be food, dog blankets, bedding, those types of things. It will also help with volunteers who will go through the nonprofit. So we are looking forward to this now coming to fruition. And hopefully in the next several months, we'll have our dog shelter up and running. We partner with Miranda here from Walking with Memphis. She's one of the rescues, many rescues we work with, but she is one of the ones that we have been working with to assist us in helping us foster out our dogs as they're coming in. So we are thankful to her and all the other rescues that assist us, and our veterinarian clinics across the county as well, who assist in emergency calls when we have to pick up a dog that is in need of an emergency medical assistant. And that's all I have on that.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I know you're going forward and it sounds wonderful, but what happened with the APL?
Our contract was not renewed with that.
It's essentially a space issue on their part, I think, and then a differentiation of what they wanted to charge for what we needed them to provide. In addition to their need to have the opportunity to basically refuse to take an animal at any time based on space. So we kind of needed an agreement if we were going to pay a significant amount that we had to be able to not expect that at any time we'd have to change direction and go find another solution.
Because under the ORC statutorily, if they are not registered, we have to hold them for at least 72 hours. If they are registered, 14 days. So if the APO were to turn us away, even if we had a contract, we still have to house that dog somewhere. So we operate a little uniquely in that our county for many years has partnered with a nonprofit to house these animals. Most counties have dog shelters, not all. So this county is likely going to have to move that direction because we don't have that outside organization that's able to take all the dogs. And we understand that because Ashtabula County, I don't know what it is, but we have a lot of dogs out there that get loose.
Until I started
and the
working on
county
this-
has a responsibility to house them.
Yeah, until I started working on this project, I've never seen so many dogs at large that are lost, that I just uncared for. It's just amazing to me how many dogs are coming into care, how many are lost that we're having to pick up. We work with the city as well and Ashtabula with their dog warden. These guys are very busy.
Do we have the same?
Yeah.
How large will this facility be? How many dogs? I have another question. How many dogs do we have there?
So right now, the building that we're looking at, it will house 32.
Is it an hotel facility?
We haven't gotten that far yet. We are still in paperwork stages.
I have a question. What portion or how much of your budget is designated for neutering and spaying?
So again, we have not gotten to that section yet. This whole piece just got awarded. So we just got the business end of it. We filed for the nonprofit 2 weeks ago. So we have not, we're not there yet.
All of the neutering and spaying was done by the APL when we had a
Correct.
contract with them. And now it's coordinated through the rescues that we have. We're not really doing any neutering and spaying, and we're looking right now for veterinarians
To do
or
it.
contracts so that we can have somebody to handle neutering and spaying when we have dogs in our care.
Yes.
Good, because
That's an answer.
instead of addressing the result, you could be proactive and spend a whole lot more money or as much neutering and spaying, therefore not having to.
So that's actually a requirement to adopt out the dogs.
Oh,
It
absolutely.
is, so that will be part of it. It is, in order for us to adopt out, that has to be taken care of before the dogs can be adopted out.
Yes, but you would provide affordable neutering and spaying for these animals before they get into this situation.
Oh, I see. You're asking if we're gonna provide a program.
Yes, clinics, do clinics, because that way you can reduce your overall costs, housing and service. Please.
What's what are the ramifications of not signing the contract with the APL? What's gonna happen to that?
The APL will continue to operate as their own nonprofit organization. They're an independent organization of the county. They're a nonprofit.
So do you have a structure in place for personnel operations that's gonna do this, or are you guys gonna handle this? As far as the operating of it?
So it's being built out now.
I get that. Do you have a plan in place, so how you're gonna, I know you're looking at volunteers.
No, we'll have employees. We currently are in the process of hiring kennel workers. So that process has started. That's through our HR department. I believe there's been 8 that have been identified that have been offered
Pre-employment.
the position and going through pre-employment right
And
now.
they'll be covered under the grants?
The
or
grant,
is
the $400,000 capital is strictly for building,
Okay, so this be coming out of the county budget. Okay.
which is what,
But recognizing we don't have the APL contract anymore.
right.
So that would have been an obligation that we would have paid. So now some of those
Balances
Dollars will
out,
be
are being
used.
allocated towards this.
and balances out, so.
Yes.
It will be more expensive to operate our own shelter than it was with what our contract was with the APL.
Sure.
But with what the APL wanted to charge or felt they needed to charge
With a new
with their
contract.
proposal, I think we're hopeful that we'll be able to do
Under
it well
this.
within that amount.
Is this in the future an opportunity for students to gain their community service hours by serving?
Totally.
Because, and especially like agriculture. and whatever, But
Mhm.
this, again, will be a learning experience for those who are considering animal husbandry in the future.
So we are partnering with ATEC with their small animal care, and those students will actually be taking care of the animals that are coming in. So they'll be doing the well checks.
Right.
We're looking at microchipping, all of those things. So we're partnering with that education piece. So they will actually be hosting classes with the animals that are coming in, that we can have them work with. Obviously, we've had some dogs that are difficult, and they can't, we're not gonna put the students in that position. But yes, there is an education component to it. We will also be looking for community service that's on our list, not just with students, but also potentially with the courts, partnering with them as well if there needs to be any type of community service done there. So,
All right, JP.
sorry.
You're fine. No, those were good questions. So
Yeah.
Thank you for asking. So I'll touch base on a couple things. One of my major projects since shortly after becoming commissioner is working on broadband expansion in Ashtabula County. I know you folks here in Conneaut are exceptionally fortunate to have Great Wave Communications, who has made tremendous investments here within the city and beyond. But there's a lot of people in Ashtabula County, especially in the southern rural parts of the county, that don't have any option for internet service. And so we're trying to find solutions to that. Currently, there are 5 different grant programs, 4 through the state of Ohio, and 1 that is a national program for building out projects with various providers here in the county. And the federal program, the BEAD program, broadband expansion and accessibility. I always forget the acronym. But that funding that was appropriated through the federal government to states all around the country. Ohio's proposal has been accepted, and and getting ready to begin going out for bids on that, which should fill a lot of the remaining gaps in broadband service. There is an expectation that there will still be some little Swiss cheese holes around the county, and we will continue to work on trying to find opportunities that we can get those folks served through a combination of, fiber would always be the first preference. If we can do that, that's what the majority of our grant dollars has all gone to. But there may also be some fixed wireless solutions or satellite solutions or things like that that might be the only opportunity that people have. So one of my goals, as long as I serve as a commissioner, is always going to be to get affordable and reliable internet access to every address here in Ashtabula County. So I think that's critically important to us being competitive, not only for quality of life, but for education, for economic development. We all know how we're just relying more and more on the internet for connectivity and all aspects of life. So lots of things going on that front, and probably within the next 18 to 24 months, I think you're going to see thousands of more people having access to internet that didn't previously here in Ashtabula County. So we'll keep you updated on that. If you have any broadband questions, feel free to reach out to me, and I will be happy to do my best to get you an answer. Water and sewer also is another thing I spend a fair amount of time on, developments through our Ashtabula County Environmental Services Department that handles water and sewer service to the unincorporated areas of Ashtabula County. Lots of different projects going on. I think this week we awarded, or we had 5 either bid openings or bid requests scheduled out for environmental services for projects. One of the major ones that should be upcoming in the next 60 days, hopefully going out for bid, is sewer service at the interchange at 193 and Interstate 90. The Kingsville, or they call it the Kirk project, it was sort of spearheaded by Fred Pierce Rulin, and he coordinated a lot of the folks in that area. I think there's 29 parcels, 19 different property owners. But that interchange is the only interchange in Ashtabula County that does not have sewers. And if you notice the development that's happened at 534 in Harpersfield, and as well in Austinburg at 45, here at Route 7, once sewers were placed in those areas, you started to see development. Kingsville hasn't had much, and this lack of sewers is a big part of that. So we're incredibly fortunate to get with the support of Dave Joyce and our federal representatives, $2.2 million, and we got $1 million from the state of Ohio. And we are very hopeful that that's going to cover the entire expense of that project, so there won't need to be any assessments for getting sewers to the front of those properties there. All of that will be pumped to an existing wastewater treatment site on Green Road across from Ashcraft, very close to the APL. And so there's some opportunities there for upgrading that facility and hopefully expanding it so that it could possibly see more development in the future. So we'll looking forward to that, but we've got an interconnect at Route 307, or along Route 307 between 534 and Route 45 that's going to connect those service areas to provide backup and redundancy in case there's ever a break. People south of 90 then don't end up losing water service. And we've got a water tower in Harpersfield that's about to get built. We just did some work on 307 over in the Jefferson area. We've just done some work on Lennox New Lime Road. There's a lot. We're upgrading the facility at Coffee Creek in Austinburg, expanding that. Just a lot happening in water and sewer service, which is certainly important to long-term growth and economic development. And then I guess the third thing I'll touch on is the 250th celebration. I've served as a commissioner that is been working on that for this year and trying to bring awareness to all the things that are going on around the country, even around the state, around the whole United States. It's Our signature event is going to be on the 4th of July in Jefferson. You guys are still having fireworks, I believe, here in Conneaut, right on the 4th, which has been a tradition. But we would hope that you'll come down and spend some time in Jefferson at Giddings Park. Starting at noon, we have a parade with lots of different participants in that. Love to have anybody else participate as a business or individual that would like to, or if you have a classic car. There will be a walk through time that will show things that have happened throughout the different, I think it's pockets of 50-year decades, showing things that have happened throughout the country and here in our county as much as we can reflect upon that. There'll be some carriage rides through the old Jefferson Depot provided by Whispering Pines and the Rettinger family. We're going to have a artisan market. There will be kids games. There will be stages and live entertainment. There will be reenactments. I believe we're going to have someone as President Lincoln will be there. President Washington will be there. I think we may have President Garfield there also. So we're resurrecting all kinds of folks for this event. So lots of exciting things going on. So before you come back to Conneaut, maybe for your fireworks, we will have fireworks too there in the village that evening. But we hope that you can spend a little bit of time with us on that day. There'll be a lot of great history of the county and of our country on display.
Okay.
Any questions?
We have a question.
Just out of curiosity, do you do your own grant writing, or do you have a professional service that you use to optimize all funds available for all of these wonderful projects?
We are kind of a grant writing by committee, and it depends on the project. Casey and I worked on a grant for the land bank, but usually most of the grant work is done with the assistance of a consultant, or we also have Jake Brand in our planning department that helps with a lot of grants and his staff. The broadband, a lot of the broadband grant work that's been done. We partnered with Eastgate out of Youngstown Regional Council of Governments, of which we're a part of, between Ashtabula County, Mahoning County, and Trumbull County. It just depends. We do not have a full-time dedicated grant writer on staff. We've talked about that for, well, a long time. It's hard to find. It's hard to find the fit and find a lot. To have grants are so very specific, and to have a grant writer that you bring on, sometimes it's easier if you can find somebody that you can hire just for a project that's related to law enforcement, or just for a project that's related to broadband, or just for a project that's related to water and sewer. So to bring someone on and then not have that be their expertise, you're probably going to have to rely on somebody with that expertise anyways. And then also prioritizing which department it is, and who gets the work on the grant first. So it's, and grant writers aren't the easiest to find either. So
there's so many funds that are available. How are you made aware of what's out there?
We constantly get email notifications from our state and federal representatives when there is a grant opportunity that comes out. And they kind of just hit all elected officials. Nick, you probably get a lot of them too, just through your feed. That's usually where we see them. And then there's certain agencies and departments that regularly have grants that come up on a regular basis. So, we are always checking kind of those websites and seeing kind of what's out there. A lot of the grants are challenging because they're matching grants. So, there may be, wow, we could get $1 million, but it's a 50% matching grant. Well, where are we going to get the other $1 million to put towards it? And then also a lot of times the restrictions on the grant, you may have a great project that seems like it fits, but there's a restriction that isn't going to let you do part of what you need to do to make that project happen because it's not covered. The grant money won't cover that particular portion of it. Another challenge I think that we find with grants is that very short windows of time a lot of times comes up. This grant opportunity is available for the next 30 days. And so I think we've been really successful in our water and sewer department by doing engineering projects ahead of time, trying to get grant funds for planning so that when a project comes available, it's kind of already baked. We have done all the research, because what oftentimes happens is if a grant opportunity comes up, all of a sudden, oh, we've got a project for that. We've got to do all this homework and put it together, and you just don't have time to do it in time to get the grant submitted. So it's really helpful, and tell this to all communities, because a lot of times we're consulted by other communities to ask for assistance. You know, don't just wait till a grant comes out. Have the projects that you want to have happen work incrementally to get the work done to put it together, all the data. So then, and then watch for a grant that matches your project, as opposed to scouring for grants and then trying to find a project that matches the grant. Get your projects in line first, and eventually there's probably going to be some kind of a grant that might come along for it.
Also, most elected officials have an association. So the sheriffs, the treasurers, the commissioners, and our association sends a lot of grant opportunities our way. So that's just another feed of how we get informed, because then it's specific to our departments.
Got a question here.
Perhaps Kent State University would have someone available for internship to help with some of this data collection, help do some base work.
Sure. It's a good suggestion.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, well, I've got one project to talk about, and then we'll open up the floor for more questions. So who has heard about the Public Safety Center project, AKA the jail project? Are you tired of us talking about it? Probably. No, okay. So we've been talking about this project for about 10 years here in Ashtabula County. It's long overdue. You know, we needed a jail probably 10, 20 years ago, to be quite honest with you. But our current jail, it's outlived its useful life. It was built in the 70s, and it was never finished. The county actually never finished building out the jail when it was built in the late 70s. So we have been behind the 8 ball as it relates to having the size and being able to meet the needs that exist here in Ashtabula County as it relates to corrections. So over the last several years, we have been working hard to bring this project to fruition. We have saved funds to be able to move the project forward. So we actually saved $15 million in ARPA funds. It's primarily from ARPA funds that we received a couple years ago. If you recall, shortly after COVID, municipalities, counties received CARES Act funds, but then also ARPA funds. So the ARPA funds, rather than spending most of those funds, we knew we had an upcoming capital project. So we banked a lot of those funds to be able to put that as a down payment on this jail project. We also worked hard to look for every possible grant dollar. So you mentioned grants. We applied for every state capital grant that was made available to us for jail projects. We finally were successful. I think it was on our third try. We secured $15 million in state jail funding through the Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections. So if you're doing the math so far, that's $30 million that we have to put towards the jail. We also were successful in reallocating an additional $250,000 in state capital funds towards this project. And then we also have a grant pending with the federal government through Congressman Joyce's office and Senator Marino's office. They both have it on their final list. We applied for $5 million in federal funds. We're hopeful that we're going to hopefully receive 4.1. That is what the committee has, I think, brought forward for consideration, $4.1 million that we'll be able to apply towards both the jail project and our dispatch center. So we have also secured an architect. DLZ is the architect that is designing this facility. Granger is the construction manager at risk for this project. The plan is for us to build this jail just adjacent to the existing sheriff's office in Jefferson. So if anybody's been to the Board of Elections or the sheriff's office, there is an employee parking lot area that's right next to the BOE or just north of the sheriff's office. That is where the new jail will be placed. And you're probably wondering, well, what are you going to do about parking? Because we're taking away a lot of parking. If you've visited Jefferson, you've probably already recognized that there's a parking problem. There's a shortage of parking spaces. So we're cognizant of that. So we actually acquired some property just west of us on Walnut Street, 3 homes. That's going to allow us to expand our employee parking lot area. And then we also are putting an employee parking lot just in behind the old title agency and the credit union there on East Jefferson Street in Jefferson. So that will actually more than make up for the lost parking as part of this new project. The new facility is planned to be approximately 55,000 square feet. roughly 220 beds. Now that is subject to change because right now we're working with our architect through the design phase, but also our construction manager to get what that final number is, what that total cost is going to be. I'm sure if any of you have worked on a construction project recently, you've come to realize that every day project costs are going up. Every day that we wait, this project is costing more and more money. Very cognizant of that. So we're working through that right now to find out what that final number is going to be to move this project forward. Highlights of this facility, it's going to be much more operationally efficient. So currently we operate a multi-story facility that requires staffing on every level. It's probably one of the most efficient ways that you can operate a jail. One of the most inefficient and one of the most inefficient ways of operating the jail. This style would be more dorm style. You'll be able to operate with less staff, being able to monitor more inmates. So that is where most counties are moving as it relates to correction space throughout the country. We'll also have additional programming space. That is something that we lack right now. I think we all recognize that when folks come into our county jail, we want them to become productive members of society again, right? When they come out of jail. We're unable to do that right now. There is just not the space in our current facility to be able to dedicate for services for folks to be able to get the help they need while they're there. So right now, unfortunately, they're committing a crime. They're likely committing a crime again, and again, because there's no help for them. And the county's not looking to get into the help business. There's a number of already providers that exist throughout our county, the state, and the country that offer this programming, these services. We want to be able to bring those services into this facility so we can get these folks, back on their feet and productive again. So that is really the goal as part of this facility. But it's also going to be restoring accountability in part in our county. Right now it's commonly known that if you commit a serious crime, there's a strong potential sometimes that there's not room in the jail. And I don't want to be known as the county where you can come to Ashtabula County and get away with it. There sufficient correction space is necessary. It's a core governmental service. So that's why moving this project forward is so important. So if the stars align, we'll ultimately break ground on this facility in roughly February, March of next year. It'll take about 2 years to build. So we hope to be up and operational in early 2029. So that is the plan right now. Did I cover everything on that? I think so. It's been very important for us to be transparent about this project. So you can actually follow a webpage that we've set up. It's ashtabulacounty.us/public safety center. And we've hosted a couple public forums sharing all of the information so far on this project. If you're unable to make those meetings, all the information that's shared at that meeting is put on this website. So I encourage you to visit that website, get all the information that you need. There's also a fact sheet. So some commonly asked questions, you can view those there. Or if you have an interest in bidding on this project, it has contact information so that you can reach out to the construction manager. Or if you have a question, you can also submit a question to us as well. So I encourage you to take a look at that website. So that is all the projects that we want to touch on here today. Now is the opportunity for us to open it up for questions or comments. And we'd be happy to answer those.
And it doesn't have to be on the topics we spoke on.
It does not. It can be on something new. So go ahead.
I have a kind of a suggestion maybe for the county jail annex, if you will. Maybe consider locating it to the west of the building to be able to capitalize on solar to heat this building, passive solar design, and also maybe consider ICF construction, which is very efficient. Also, if you're going to do, let's say, a one-story facility, would it be feasible to have parking deck on top? Because it's for something else, but parking deck on top, that would be parking or underneath, right? I think there's some different ways to approach this. I saw the most recent rendering, the proposal was on the, I believe, the north side of the building with a wall of glass. That's going to be a real cost to heat this building. If you place it west, you can access a lot of passive heating and cooling. Oh, the suggestion.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you sharing all of that. So I'm not familiar with the wall of glass.
The wall of glass that was on the northern, there was a rendering, there was a floor to,
You're saying the whole side was glass?
the whole north elevation.
No. I wonder if that's maybe just
It was a,
how it
whatever,
possible. Yeah,
whatever.
there is not a whole wall of glass. I can assure you of that.
Okay, yeah.
Because the one thing that we want to be very cognizant of is for this to be the most cost-effective design possible,
Right.
while still making sure we meet the needs for our facility. I'll
Absolutely.
take another look at that rendering and make sure that something wasn't put in correctly there, but I can assure you that the design doesn't have that big wall of glass. And we, yes, have had conversations with the engineer about being operationally efficient. So from an energy perspective, making sure that we're as efficient as possible with the usage, natural gas, electric, all of those things. We even talked about solar. So as you know, at the federal level, there were some changes made where solar is not necessarily as, there aren't some of the incentives out there that had existed before, but it is something that has been part of a conversation. So I can assure you we've looked into that. Now, as it relates to parking, it's a great question because I get that asked a lot about building a parking deck. So an above ground parking deck, the cost per parking spot is about $20,000 to $25,000. Yeah.
Per space.
Per
space.
per parking
Yeah,
spot.
that's-
Underground is even more. So unfortunately, that is cost prohibitive, but
That
we
was-
did look at it.
That was one of the
We did.
first things we did
We
look
did
at,
look at it.
because we felt that having either above ground or below ground would be able to maximize the space. And when the figures came back, 20 to 25,000 above ground,
Almost double below.
double below. So we did look at that. That was one of the first things, and it's just not cost effective at all for us to be able to do that.
My proposal was passive solar, not solar panels.
Okay.
And your south exposure could be all glass. Lighting is a real benefit to your psyche, okay? Look into all of these types of things instead of your typical brick and mortar.
Yeah.
I actually built an ICF home, and the energy savings is amazing.
Okay.
Is amazing. I
I'll
mean,
have them
for-
take a
for
look at that.
5,000 total square feet is probably half of what, if not a third or fourth of what traditional builds are.
Okay. We will look.
What is the materials that make it so much more efficient?
ICF construction is insulated concrete forms, and it's, if you can imagine, a styrofoam Lego block,
Mhm.
void in the middle, that are stacked, they're like 4-foot sections, you stack them up like Legos.
Mhm.
And then there's a pour in elevations, okay? And of course, it's all reinforced with rebar and such, but it's quieter.
Probably a little more expense at the upfront, but a
It
lot
was
bigger
only
savings.
5%.
5%
rebuilt
difference.
over
Okay,
conventional
that's
build.
minimal.
And
Because that's one of the things that we talked about from an operational perspective is that the cost to build this, although the number is very large, it's a fraction of what it's gonna cost to operate it. And that's why a lot of our focus has been on the operational, long-term expense, because any position that you have, any post you have to hire, you probably need 5 people to operate there
Right.
for 24/7, 365.
The next 30 years.
Right.
So if you can reduce the number of people that you need to operate in the facility, and still keep it safe, that's a exponential savings. Because every employee is probably
Yes.
a minimum of $100,000 when it comes to benefits,
Benefits.
healthcare, retirement, all that sort of thing. So
Yeah, we can't stress enough the investment up front. It may be a little more, but it's because we want to be as operationally efficient as possible, because that's where the cost is going to come in. They actually say in a lot of these training sessions that we've participated in before starting this project, they say building the jail is actually the easy part. Being able to afford to maintain it and run it for the long term is the hard part. So you want to make sure that you're looking out 10, 20, 30 years and doing it right the first time.
I got several questions on this.
I think she had one follow-up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Forgive me. I see a construction, actually, you're going to save on labor because it's not going to be as intensive as your traditional conventional build. In fact, St. John School out at Saybrook, they did ICF construction for their addition. Yeah, and that was wonderful. So please look at that.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I think we had another hand over here, and then I think Oki. Thought I saw another hand over here. Yeah.
What's going to happen to the current jail? Building the space.
Yeah. So the existing jail is actually part of our existing courthouse. So it's actually not something that you can just kind of take away. It's all part of the kind of existing design. So that'll be phase 2, looking at renovating that space. One thing that I've always thought about is actually using that for enhanced office space or something like that. Maybe you can even renovate the first few floors and have some additional jail beds. But the reason why the county is not exploring renovation of that facility as a jail into the future is because it was built in the 70s. You're now subject to new jail standards. So the moment you touch kind of the existing footprint, you have to redo everything because you're now subject to 2026 jail standards. So you actually go backwards in the number of beds that you have. And it'll be cost more to renovate the existing facility and add on to it. So it's throwing good money after bad. And that is why the county has kicked the can down the road for so long, because that has been the case. So it's no more kicking the can down the road. It's actually addressing an issue that's been long overdue.
But there's no plans right now for what to do with it. It's just floors 2, 3, 4, and 5 will just be sort of mothballed, I guess, for the time being until we evaluate, what makes sense, or someone comes along and maybe partner with on a project. Maybe it's a transitional housing, maybe it's a bail bondsman, maybe it's an additional office space for a county department. I mean, it could be any of a number of things. It's just not really suitable to be for corrections.
Possibility that space could be utilized for treatment, therapy, education.
Yes.
That's where we said partnering with
Yes.
Signature Health or with a community counseling or with another agency that would like to have a place that would be like maybe a transition coming out of, or before, maybe it's someone that goes through drug court that could go to that type of a facility instead of come over there. So we're open to any of those possibilities.
I think that would be great space for people that need some mental health support.
Yep.
Because, a lot of people are in jail because poverty, jobs, drugs, alcoholism.
Absolutely.
So I got several questions. Back in '79, when the jail was built, the initial plan was to expand out over the existing parking lot if there was going to be an addition. I don't know if any of you was made aware of that 10 years ago when you first started looking at this project. And alluding to what you just said about bringing up to date in 2026, I don't know if it would have been appropriate 10 years ago that you could have added on at that time. As far as cost savings, we've been 10 years. You guys have been kicking this around. The initial idea 10 years ago of building this, did you have a cost at that time? And how much has it gone up to present?
Yeah, so we actually conducted a study shortly after I came on board, and it was over $10 million to look at just bringing some of the issues that exist with the current jail up to par.
Expanding it or
No,
renovating?
just renovating it just to address some of the structure.
Right. I knew the idea was to expand it because we definitely don't have the room.
That was in
Correct.
what,
So that was 2014, 2015. So you added 10 years later, you can imagine what that number is. But it's always been the issue. If you then renovate that space to add additional space, you are now subject to 2026 jail standards.
Right, I
Or
get
whatever
that.
year you were doing.
Right,
Each
I
bed
get
has
that.
to get bigger and all of that. So how much more money do you want to throw after bad rather than looking at new build? So after evaluating both the cost of messing with our existing facility or a new build, it was more cost effective in the long run for the new bill.
Correct. But what
Because you
took
have
so
to-
long to make that decision?
Funding.
Funding.
The
and we
funding
did
took
go-
that long? I
We
mean-
did
Wait,
go out to the
funding.
taxpayers for a criminal justice sales tax
Mhm.
that was defeated.
Yeah.
So we had to go back to the drawing board. So it wasn't that we've just not done anything for 10 years.
Mhm.
It's been a lack of
It's
funds.
been a lack of funds, and once the residents defeated the ballot initiative, we had to go back to the drawing board to start figuring out, okay, now what do we do? How do we started saving money, and then we were very blessed with the ARPA funds.
Do you have any idea why the taxpayers didn't pass the funding for it originally?
Well, I
I mean, there was some confusion on when you guys initially started this as far as the placement of the jail. And there was a lot of pushback, if I recall. And, you know, you think maybe that might have alluded to this being kicked down the road?
I personally don't think folks wanted an increase in their sales tax.
Yes.
That's my personal opinion. So,
Mhm.
And I respect that. I absolutely
Sure.
respect that. So, and I've made a commitment when I first ran for commissioner that I would never impose a sales tax increase. The voters should have the ultimate say on that issue. And they said, no, I respect that. I think a lot of these things should be decided by the voters, especially as it relates to their pocketbooks. So that's why I think it failed.
And-
If you look at the track record of the sales tax, anytime that the commissioners have attempted a sales tax modification, it's never passed.
So then this comes back down to your grant writing abilities. I think you did pretty good securing $30 million. That's very good.
Yes.
But what's going to be the cost of this now?
Yep.
Do we have an idea?
That's what we're looking to get right now. So a couple years ago, we were at $650 per square foot.
Mhm.
We know it's gone up since then.
How many square
So-
feet's going to be?
It's approximately 55,000 square feet. Yep. So that was the number then, but we know it's more now.
Oh, yeah.
We know it's more now. So just the cost of material, the cost of
Like
labor.
you said,
all
every
of
day.
that. So we're waiting for that final GMP. And of course, we're being transparent about this. So when we have more numbers to share with you, we're going to host our public meeting and share that information. We've had 2 so far, and we'll continue to do that just like we've done in the past.
And we do daytime and evening. So if people are at work and can't attend the daytime, we have the exact same meeting in the evening. So the same information is shared. So when we do hold public meetings, there's a daytime and evening, same information.
Very good.
On Tuesdays.
It varies, but I think the last 2 have been on a Tuesday.
No, one was
No,
Monday.
One was a Monday.
'Cause it was-
Monday.
No, it was election day, so it
It
wasn't
was Tuesday.
Are they recorded?
No,
No, because the
On YouTube?
the audio, if you've been in our commissioner's room, it's been a little hard as it relates to being able to hear everybody that asks questions. So we share all the information that was shared there on our website. So you have all the information there.
Someone's
We're not
welcome
on
to come
YouTube.
and, someone's welcome to come and scan it, record it, or broadcast it if they would like to, but the acoustics in the room we've tried to improve them, but they're not.
They're not
the
good yet.
best.
Just
They're
the
not-
mic for public commentary? I mean,
oh, we
Well,
have.
we've got all the information there on our website.
Yeah.
So
okay.
yeah, we're not hiding anything. It's all there.
It's like a giant concert hall in there.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good way to put it, Nick.
Yep.
Did you have, you
Uh,
said you had a lot of questions. I didn't know if you were.
No, I think you answered my questions. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Well, that answered one of my questions. I was asking about evening meetings.
Yep.
So making it accessible to those that have to work during the day is crucial to transparency.
Exactly.
I am wondering if any of you have signed an NDA with Growth Partnership or any companies concerning data centers or power data centers. Have there been any signatures through?
Nope.
No? Okay. One more thing then. Well, actually, Mr. Ducro, are Growth Partnerships meetings public? Are they recorded?
executive
Are we
sessions.
available to attend?
Those are executive meetings.
I don't know if it's a membership only. I think the Growth Partnership meeting is a membership meeting.
Even though it's a nonprofit working with a public entity?
I don't know. I would probably ask Growth Partnership. We're not the host of those meetings.
Correct.
But you're attending them.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
attend as a commissioner, as a representative of the board.
Well, you are on the board.
Yeah.
So is Mr. Sanford.
So I would reach out to either Greg Myers or
Sonia.
James Mayer.
James Mayer, who is James Mayer?
James Mayer is the board president.
He's at Wells Fargo?
Yes.
Is that right? Wells Fargo, Nashville.
I
It's
think,
now-
they,
it's
I
now
think they've changed names.
Your Bridge is
Oh.
the name of it, but it was
Yeah,
a
they've
Wells
changed
Fargo.
names.
Okay. Last, hypothetically, if a data center comes into Ashtabula County, I mean, how are you going to protect its citizens in our environment? What ideas, you're gonna offer abatements, especially after we're seeing that, there's a 40-year contract right now with 3 big data center companies that are paying huge amounts of money. in
Billion over
sales.
budget, $1 billion over budgeted in the
Yeah.
first year
Yeah,
of a 40-year contract
right.
by abating the sales tax.
I mean, these are extraction corporations and they want to take everything that's vital to Ashtabula County. How are you gonna protect us?
So I take my job very seriously. I'm a lifetime resident of Ashtabula County, lived here all my life. So don't plan to go anywhere. So when I make decisions, I make decisions that I feel are in the best interest of Ashtabula County, of course. So I would treat this project like I treat any other and do certainly the due diligence on any economic development project that is being considered. I don't think we just write a blank check, right? And say, yeah, sure, go ahead, develop here. We're gonna do our due diligence. So I would think that this would not be any exception. We would treat this project like any other economic development project. Look at the pros, look at the cons. Where are there opportunities for us to make improvements maybe to the proposal? What are the concerns that need addressed? We need this done, this done, this done. So I think you would treat that like you would treat any other economic development project.
So would that mean then no NDAs, keeping it public, transparent? How would you provide those to us?
So none of us have signed an NDA, so I think that speaks volumes. And then this board
But
has
quite honestly, I
strived.
don't think we've ever signed an NDA in my 10 years as a
I haven't.
commissioner.
I've never
Well, that's
signed
For
good
any,
to
any,
know.
for any
No.
company,
For
for any
any.
project.
No.
any project,
no.
any
And
company.
we have by leaps and bounds taken steps to be more transparent as Board of County Commissioners. The prior board, I can't recall traveling meetings, daytime and evening. I can't recall allowing you to participate virtually in our work sessions at the commissioner's office. It's on the calendar's on the website. You can participate virtually.
Or in person.
And these coffee events, I don't recall those happening before. So we get out there talking about projects and we're not afraid to ask questions. If you come to a commissioner's meeting, you don't get told you have 30 seconds to speak to us. You're allowed to address us and ask questions, provide comments. So we encourage you to come speak. We will make sure you're heard. And if there are issues that you're bringing to our attention that need addressed on a respective matter, we will look into that and take action if necessary.
So in recent articles, even dating back into 2025, I mean, there's been discussion of power and data. Are there companies coming to Ashtabula County trying to build a data center,
So at this time, no project has been presented to us.
That's correct.
even through Growth Partnership?
No project's been presented to us.
No project has come before the
I
commission.
do believe that there are inquiries. I think that that's not a secret, that there are companies that are inquiring about projects and looking
But
at
no project has
evaluating
been
no
presented.
project.
sites and looking at options, but I don't know any specifics of any project.
There is a number of inquiries that Growth Partnership, the Port Authority, governmental organizations get as it relates to potential economic development project. Those come in almost daily.
Well, and my concern comes from Ohio Revised Code 9.66 subsection, where that was just approved in March, that economic development entities that are part of councils or anything that's dealing with economic development can work with an entity that gets exemptions, and they don't have to follow the same sunshine laws. That's the concern I have.
So as I understand, I think there's a special provision that allows for an executive session to discuss some elements of economic development. So some of that discussion can take place in executive session. However, as I understand it, if we have to take a vote on something, that happens in an open public meeting.
Absolutely.
So if there's gonna be an incentive or there's gonna be a tax break or whatever, that has to be conducted in an open public meeting.
Okay.
That can't happen secretly, privately.
And one of the things too that I have, sort of heard in the discussions about these projects is that, from a data center standpoint, I think there's been a lot of lessons learned from communities that have had concerns and have had problems. One of the things that I have heard regularly is the draw on power. So
And water.
I would anticipate, and water, I would anticipate that any, we already have a power shortage here in Ashtabula County. We know it's difficult to find, enough power for a traditional economic development expansion. I would anticipate any project that would come that would consume the massive amount of the power that the data center would part of that project proposal would be having its own power generation.
You're talking behind the meter.
Yes.
And it'd be natural gas power plant, how detrimental that is to the environment. Noise, pollution, environment, the particulate that those things spew out, not to mention the massive amounts of water for cooling.
So in what, I can't speak to, where something would be located or what their source would be, but I know in Ashtabula at Plant C, we have a permit for 200 million gallons of water a day for industry, for, whatever type of needs would be out there. We currently use about 25 million. So there's a huge available capacity of water, at least through that.
Just
resource.
because it's available, isn't that we should.
But, so, understood. So I guess I would put this in the bucket just like any other economic development project. And I think you need to ask those questions. You're asking, we're bringing up several points. Keep asking those questions. But I also think the approach shouldn't be no, right off the bat, no. I think you need to bring up those concerns, but you need to have a conversation about those items.
Well, and the next thing then,
And make sure your due diligence is being done. So I encourage you, if you've got concerns that you want us to look at, should a project come down the road in a couple of years, what questions would you like us to ask?
one quick question then to play off what you
Please
said.
definitely bring it.
Shouldn't you put it to a vote of the citizens if we want this to come in? You're literally talking about voters and their pocketbooks. You literally just said this about the prison. Shouldn't we also have that same voice in something like this?
So I would encourage you to talk to our legislators because we're creatures of statute. So county commissioners are creatures of statute. Only powers we have as a board of county commissioners are the powers delegated to us by the Ohio Revised Code. We don't have lawmaking authority.
Unlike cities.
So with other governmental entities, it may differ, but as it relates to that request, we can't just arbitrarily say, well, we want to put this up to a vote. We don't want to put this up to a vote. But this we will. If that is something that you'd like to see done, I would have a conversation with your state legislators because we need a special provision in the ORC to allow for that to be publicly voted on.
Okay. Thank you for your time. Sorry about the barrage, but
You're fine.
So
You're
it's
fine.
fine. I'm
Good
very
question.
passionate about
And
this
just so
issue.
you know, Representative David Thomas and Representative Sarah Fowler Arthur are the representatives for Ashtabula County.
yes.
So, Marion, I think you had your hand up.
In California, they have less data centers than in Ohio. And their population is 3 to 4 times more than us here, 11.1 million.
Yeah, about 11.
Isn't that insane? Why would Ohio allow this many data centers into our state? This is what's really getting to people. When you look at the size of California as opposed to the size of Ohio.
I think it's fairly obvious answer to your question,
Yes.
and that is that these companies have done their due diligence. They're targeting poor communities with underdeveloped economic opportunity, and they're going to places without a whole lot of control and low information citizenry.
So
And they are
If-
intentionally targeting places they think they have a good chance to get in there. I
And
think
they
that's
have.
obvious.
So I think it's a little different. I think the reason that they're looking at Ohio is because why is Ohio ripe for development in general? Why do you think?
But it's not-
Government is catering to data centers. Ashtabula County is within a day's drive of about 60% of this country's population. So if you think about the placement of any type of project, Ohio is going to be in the running because we're within a day's drive of 60% of the US population.
Yeah, but data
So
knows
look,
no
but
boundaries.
look at a
It
warehouse.
is-
Why is there a lot of warehousing in Ohio? That's partly why, because you got to be able to move that product pretty easily to majority of the country. So I think when you look at data centers, that's probably part of their methodology as well.
I'm
I mean,
sorry,
because
I respectfully
California-
disagree with that assessment.
I just my 2 cents as
Yeah.
relates to why some development happens in Ohio versus California.
That's true.
But
I would also-
something for you to consider.
I would also suggest just cost of land in general. You know, we have large amounts of land that is available.
Farmland.
That is,
Which is gonna be needed.
Which will never get back.
Right.
So going down that path, I look at what Geneva's been doing with their memorandum, which I think was the right step to take. And I think we're going to be looking at that here in Conneaut. Do you guys have any plans on putting anything in progress to address the data centers as far as the state gives them no tax abatement? Should the county give them no tax abatement?
So
That's just one
Yeah.
idea. There's a lot of ideas
I
that
don't
we
know
should
if
be
you've
looking
been
at.
I don't know if you've been following legislation the last couple.
I
days.
just want to know what you guys are doing.
Yeah, but I guess again, our powers are what's given to us in the Ohio Revised Code.
So you're saying you
you're-
can't do like what we
You're-
can do here
you
in the
have
city?
charter
Correct.
powers.
There's
Yeah, you have
charter
charter
powers
I-
are
I
different
see.
than us.
We are not a charter form of government. We are a county form of
Correct.
government under the ORC. So anything that we can do is what's delegated to us in the Ohio Revised Code.
And if it's not in there, we can't do
If
it.
it's not in there, we can't do it. So I would probably put that in the bucket of probably a zoning. I don't know what provision of ORC you're imploring to potentially do this moratorium. Maybe it's in the zoning realm. We don't have countywide zoning. So each respective township weighs in on their respective zoning issues.
And we have
Mhm.
townships that have no zoning.
So we also have a couple townships that don't have any zoning.
Right.
So again, we'll pose the question to our legal counsel should something be brought forward. But again, we don't have the power to do something that the ORC says we can't do. So
Understand.
yes.
You asked the question, why are we being targeted here in Ohio, and especially here? We have tremendous infrastructure here.
We do. We're blessed
We
with
do.
great infrastructure. Yeah.
I have said previously to different people, we really, I would hope, start to focus on really clean industries. Instead of, we realize we have a vast natural resources, but we are in a position to really be choosy about what comes into this area, which means that we can also preserve our farmland and our quality of life here, our health, our well-being. We can become the most desirable area to live, sustainable. Okay, we have all of those cards in our hands. So instead of being quick to jump on some of these things, let's take our time. Do the moratoriums, support the moratoriums, get it on the ballot so that we do get the right to create. And backing up to a question that you asked about NDAs, have any of you been approached to sign an NDA?
No.
I never have.
Thank you.
So I think to expand on that a little bit.
Sure.
So I'm very pro economic development. I want to see development happen. I also recognize that when developers are looking at an area to potentially make an investment, they want to see what the local temperature is like. And they also want to know how welcoming government may be, all of those things. They look at a number of different things. So I can tell you during my tenure as commissioner, 12 years as county commissioner, Any project that comes across my desk, I consider it on its merits. You ask the questions. If there are concerns, you work with them to address those. I would treat this project the same as every other project. I think saying no right off the bat sends the wrong message, because you want them to look at our area, but then you want to make sure your local government officials are doing it right, should they support that investment to happen here, right? So how you can be helpful to our efforts is give us the things you want us to look into should a project be brought forward to us in a couple of years. What questions should we be asking? If there is X concern, how would you like that concern addressed? That helps me be better as a local elected official to make sure that I'm carrying your interests, rather than just saying, no, we don't want it. How can we work with you to do this the right way?
And I think every project is gonna have some pros and some cons. I don't think there's any project that everything about it has got to be negative or everything about it is going to be good. I think a big responsibility of people that are in elected positions is to, just like the old, write out a piece of paper, put a line down the middle, good, bad, and let's make that list. And then the job is to always whittle down any of the negatives, maximize the positives, and get to a point where you feel comfortable that one significantly outweighs the other for everybody's benefit. And even when it may not necessarily be just what you think, it's what the people you represent thinks. And one of the challenging things about this job is a lot of times people say, you represent me, but there's always going to be differing opinions. And so it's a challenge to take all that information in. I think we all take that very seriously, to try to listen to every perspective. But if we choose to make a decision that is different than maybe what you would have made, it's not because we don't like you or disrespect you or we're not listening to you. It's sometimes there's the toughest part of this job for me coming from the private sector is in the private sector, I can make a decision and fix a problem that you want. It doesn't affect anybody else. But every decision we make here
Affects
affects people.
97,000 people.
And there's always going to be people that feel that it wasn't represented.
Yep. So help us be better.
I
And I do want to say, and I do want to say one other thing in regards to the abatement issue. I was stunned and appalled when I saw the recent messages that came out about the pre-negotiated sales tax waivers or whatever that is. I don't know enough about that whole process or what could happen with that. It's scary. But I will say that every discussion that I have had in regards to data centers, and that's going from national conferences, state conferences, even local discussions, has been, we do not need to roll out the red carpet for these projects in Ashtabula County, because we have assets that do make us appealing that a lot of places don't have. So if a project were to ever come forward, we really do hold the upper hand and can be making requirements of what needs to be done to address noise issues, to address unsightliness issues, to address any sort of pollution issues or power issues or all those sorts of things. So those are all things that I think are very, and this applies to whether we're talking about a wind or solar project or a data center or a manufacturing plant, whatever that may be.
It's no different.
But there are lots of things that can be done, and one of the most affluent communities in the state of Ohio is a data center hub where $500,000 homes are coexisting right beside data center development.
That's New Albany, Ohio.
And you would. I have seen pictures. I haven't been there personally as of yet, but I do intend to go, and I would encourage anybody else to go just to see what's possible, to see if it answers any questions for you, or at least gives you some perspective of, well, they didn't do enough there, or if something like that would ever happen to here, they better at least do that. and it wasn't nearly as loud as I thought, or I couldn't even tell that that
Well,
was a data
to-
center
to
or
address-
anything like
To address what you're saying, our city manager, where'd he go?
Nick just walked.
that. He said data center, he said, I'm out of here.
You
Yeah.
said New Albany.
New
He's the
Albany,
poster child of-
and he went down there, he brought back a lot of positive information. And it was a
No, he
lot,
did hear
it was a
the whole
lot
time.
of positive information that, myself, we need to do more research. It's one community that had a positive outlook on the data center. And what he brought back, and anybody can look at the information that I have in my packet, anybody's welcome to look at it. It was a very positive meeting that he had, and it sounded good.
Yeah.
What it's not addressing are the other communities that are down there that are experiencing higher electric bills and experiencing the water and, you know, the noise. And I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be addressed, but there was a lot of positive that he brought back.
And that's why we
Closer
want
to-
to do our due
Closer
diligence.
to us than New Albany is northeastern Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And they are the poster child of why the radical expansion in this area is detrimental, especially to
In-
smaller communities.
Virginia, next outside of
And we want to know
DC.
what happened wrong. What weren't
Oh,
they
it-
able to do?
Well, you can go onto the CBS Sunday Morning News website. There is probably an 11-minute news story. It'll detail everything you want to know about it.
Okay.
They ran less than a month ago.
Okay. So we've got one more question, and then we got to read to the kiddos.
Yeah,
right?
you gotta, yeah.
Yes.
You're here for the
So
kids.
one more question.
So what happens to Ashtabula County if we start saying no to all these economic development opportunities that we have all this infrastructure to have?
Well, Ashtabula County hasn't said no.
Well, no, but
I think he's saying.
I'm hearing a
hypothetical.
lot in the community that we should say no, say
Yeah.
no, say no, say no. We need, so
So what I would say is our approach, at least from the commit, I don't want to speak for the whole board here, but is to consider each project on its merits and do our due diligence and ask the hard questions. And if there are concerns, we have to work to address each and every one of those. To JP's point, I think it was very good. We don't have to roll out the red carpet. So we get to set the terms.
but I guess my question is, what is the result of saying no, saying no, saying no?
What he's saying is if we start turning down
Understood.
economic development
Yeah.
on a regular basis.
I think it goes back to your comment about we have the ability to be, you know, this sustainable industry and everything. Where are the people with those projects? How come they're not coming? And I guess the way that you could be most helpful is saying, well, why aren't you talking with this company? They have a proposal for you that could bring as many jobs and as much revenue and as much return for the property owner that wants to maximize the profit on their property that they own, that they've invested in forever. Those projects need to come forward too, because I often hear, well, we should do that. You know, we should do hydroponic farming. Well, where's a hydroponic farmer? Bring them in.
Yeah.
Why can't, but they have to, someone has to be willing to make that investment
Well,
and
happily
bring that
talk to 'em.
industry forward, just like data centers and wind
Here.
farms and solar farms and widget manufacturers are
Okay.
doing.
All right.
We're done.
We're done.
Happy
Kathy.
standing up.
You know, I love this so much, and it really speaks to how we started today when I had mentioned that the library was engaged in some conversation partnerships. So this will all be coming out in some future information. I wasn't prepared to do everything today, but there's a few places you can look into. Data in Society is someone that is an entity we'll be partnering with to hold community conversations along with the American Conversation Project. This is also in partnership with the Digital Public Library of America, because as things are being digitized and archived, we're very much concerned with the digital infrastructure. And we know communities are talking about that. So please be on the lookout for these conducted conversations. This information is going to be recorded in public and given, and it'll become a fabric of really what's going on in the United States right now. We're not the only community talking about it, right?
Exactly.
Like right now,
Yes.
even in Ohio, there's probably the,
Oh,
this is
yeah.
what's going on.
Yep.
Yeah. So keep, this is what we need to do. Come and show up, have donut and, right? And
Exactly.
just keep showing up. Keep doing it. So be on the lookout for more information on that.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you
All
for
right.
having us.
Yes, thanks for
Thank
having
you
us.
for coming.
And I
Yeah,
have cards
we
here
appreciate
showing
it.
up.
Yes, yes.
you'd like to sign against data center.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Have a great day.
Kathy, what are we going to read?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's how
I'll take one of those things. My wife will be impressed.
Alrighty. Well, that is that's the show there. That was the end of it. Thanks for watching. I see people showed up, so I'll I'm the guy. I recorded it today. I cover sometimes I cover politics, sometimes I don't. It's politics takes a strong stomach. Usually I make comic books. Here, I'll take this off the screen here. Oh, I gotta take this turn. Son of a gun. There we go. Usually I make comic books. It's my latest, Van Piglet. It's a goth true crime comic. I got issues 1 and 2, both on my my website or my eBay, my Big Cartel, both below. You can get my book of Babies from Hell, illustrations I've had in Ripperologist magazine, the academic magazine of Victorian and true crime, and the notorious Whitechapel murders. Yeah, that's what. Look, you see that Scooter back there? He's sleeping. He's passed out on the couch. Uh-oh, I'm waking him up. Oh no, he's waking up. Sorry, guys. All right, well, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to get too on. I don't want to go off into my normal spiel of comic book stuff too much here. Like I said, shout out to the Ashtabula County Commissioners there. I thought they did a good job of, presenting the projects they're working on and trying to allay the fears of citizens about all this the AI data center stuff. Ashtabula County, we're saying we're not gonna roll out the red carpet for no data center here. No, I'm not sure. Is that what they said? I don't know. I don't want to say something they didn't say. Jesus. All right, guys. Yeah, normally I do we do comic reviews, I do interviews. We had Bosch Foston here on Sunday on the Comics Gate Goth Night. Every Sunday we have Goth Night. It's 9 p.m. Eastern time. We talk about comics, we talk about my stuff, other people's, we have guests. We look at all the weird degenerate stuff you find on the internet, and we try to make fun of it. There's a lot of weird stuff out there. So there's the commercial here at the end for Goth Night. It's one of the intros we normally do, give you kind of a taste of it. Play music, we make jokes and laugh, and try to have a fun time. But anyways, that's my show. It's Dr. Ben. If you don't want to get my comics through the mail, you can go down to Captain's Comics Toys and get my comics. They're on 6551 South Main Street, North Kingsville, Ohio. The corner, right beside Covered Bridge Pizza. Go there and tell them Dr. Ben sent you.
Oh man, I'm getting a flashback to all these Stephen J. Canal TV shows. Riptide! Thank you, Dr. Ben.
Yeah! There it is. This art is just so freaking crazy and just so this is the epitome of underground comics to me. I love it. I think it is so cool.
Love it. For you 90s stoners out there, this just felt. This stuff I really like too. I love underground stuff, and this side of the book had tried to bring a lot of that feel into it. I really appreciate it. Wow. Yeah, that's Dr. Ben again, man. He had been away from comics for a long time, and now he's back. He's got these crazy colors. Yeah, so really great work. And some of it's meta too, it's got, talking about Brubaker, Sean Phillips. This is, he is in this. He's the guy with the chops and the bald head there in the top right. So it's the Broob. Yeah, does Broob know about this? He would love this. I don't know. You can get $500 for the original artist. That's on Bristol Board, right?
Ben Anthony. The definition of underground. I think that.
And hello, Dr. Ben, and I'll shut up now. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Don. Somebody's got to be making a list of all this stuff so we can kayfabe perfect it all. All right, next up, the rock star, the one and only, Thick Comics publisher, Dr. Ben. It's thick, right? Thick Comics. You're muted.
Dr. Ben is just yelling, "You're wrong," in caps. All right, but here's my larger.
Last week on Comicsgate Goth Night.
People with head wounds. What are those people with late comic books? Yeah, tons of people with late comic books. They need to be subjected to the Better Business Bureau. And I'm here to say suffer.
Even get tired of doing it.
Pretty cloudy day himself. Fresh out of church. Fresh out of getting his soul cleansed. So it's time to come on down Goth Night and get it all dirty again.
From the church to the dirt.
Manny Gomez, and again, I don't want to keep you long. Manny says all you have to do is look up the great comics coming out of the Cartoonist Kayfabe Ringside Seats group. Tell me about this. Have you got a community of new creators or something, or what's going on?
Like we have nothing to do with that. I don't know what that is.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, that's some unauthorized stuff.
I see, and I understand.
That's right. The men will literally blank instead of go to therapy sticker. Fill it in with your favorites. For example, what will you put in? Hope to see you this weekend at Fan Expo Cleveland, table P15. Bye.
We have a legend on the show right now, Don Simpson. How are you doing today? Creator of Megatron.
There he is. My lawyers.
Don Simpson. There he is.
Your lawyers are on this?
I'm gonna stick my lawyers on this. No, I'm
What?
Like, my parents were gonna get home at a certain time, and my ex wanted to have sex, but instead, I chose to play Super Street Fighter while she was, like, naked on this pull-out couch, and my love of Street Fighter has remained, and...
Street Fighter? Yeah, Street Fighter's forever. I mean, I feel that. That was... Have you ever heard of late comic book purveyors
Not sending your comics out fast enough? You're in big trouble. Big trouble with the Better Business Bureau. So...
Oh, we're back?
Yeah.
Hashtag alt comics gate. We're back on Geeky Sparkles.
Okay. Yeah.
Dr. Ben's Comics here says Van Piglet is the best. I agree with you. It's hilarious. And thank you.
You know what would be a great children's book is Dr. Ben's Comics Van Piglet, a true crime story that is warning about satanic evil and has a message of faith in Christ and the power of prayer in Jesus' name.
Stop making sense,
Right.
I can also.
Bad dreams in the night. They told me I was going to lose a fight. Leave behind my wuthering heights. It's me, Kathy.
Look at that.
Trying to keep it together here. Too much.
He's more of a victim than Heather Antos. So give him a sub.
It's me, Kathy. Come home. I'm so cold.
Yo, dude, you remember me? Where? That Sleep Token concert. I fell down in the pit and you saved me.
I do remember you.
Yeah. I'm doing all right. This guy right here is a hero.
Oh my gosh, you like Sleep Token?
I love Sleep Token.
You remember me? That White Monster Energy concert. I fell down in the pit and you picked me up. I do, dude. How you doing?
I've been doing great thanks to you. Yo, this guy, he's a real winner. Thanks, man.
Oh my gosh, you like White Monster?
I love White
Monster. Don't touch my dog. Don't rape my dog. I'm not trying to rape your. What are you talking about? I'm trying to rape your dog. You are a dog rapist. Help! What are you doing? Help! Don't touch my dog. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to touch your dog. Molester! Dog molester!
You're gonna touch my dog. What's that called? Molesting.
Van Piglet is the scariest horror fucking book in town. It's me, Kathy.
Where's your girlfriend? No, babe, stay over there. That's your girlfriend? Yeah, that's my fiance. She's like a toddler with Brad's makeup on. Who the fuck do you think you are? Not someone who's trying to fuck him.
Come home, so cold. Let me in your window. Heathcliff, it's me, Kathy. Come home, so cold. Let me in your window.
I just say please, please. It's too much booty. Can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's me, Kathy, and I'll say no I'm so Heathcliff, it's me, Kathy, come home, I'm so cold.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.